welcome to the Hoops With playlist. Today we'll be continuing a series where we will say the top 3 players from each position. Today's position is the power forward position. So today we'll be talking about the top 3 players from the power forward position, but first I want to go through the history of the power forward position. So in the old days, the power forwards were really powerful and they used to be really good in the post, like Karl Malone and Charles Barkley, who had really a lot of power and muscle and really were able to get past the other smaller players in the other teams. So they were really called power forwards. But now the power forwards are more of stretch forwards or mid-range and 3-point shooting forwards who can provide the extra catch and shoot option. So maybe we should call them soft forward. So I think that soft forward might be a bit rude, but yeah, they're not really that power forward anymore. Now that role goes to the center. They're the ones who really are doing the post moves now these days. So I think that the power forward has been revolutionized, and it has changed so much from the old days now. So now the power forwards are used in a very different way. So let's get on to the leaderboard. So the honorable mentions are LaMarcus Aldridge and Aaron Gordon. They are very good in different ways. Aaron Gordon is very athletic and he gets to the hoop like the power forwards of the old days, but in different ways. He drives past them and he's athletic. He's not using power, but at least he's still going to the hoop. So I love the way Aaron Gordon does his dunks. He was second in the dunk contest against Levine, remember? And also I like LaMarcus Aldridge because he's a very good mid-range and 3-point shooter, and he's a player that DeMar DeRozan might need to rely on a lot. And he was actually probably the Spurs' most consistent scorer this year. And the type of player he is, he might not be very powerful, but once he gets the ball in his hands, remember, he's always ready to shoot, and you can expect all day you need to defend hard on him, or he'll just be able to put up 30 or 20 points on you, because that's how hard of a player he is to defend. So now to the top 3 players in the power forward position. So number 3 is Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin absolutely revived himself in the Pistons. He was such a good player. He was playing his own type of self when he was in CP3 in the Clippers with Andre Drummond, who really helped him out in rebounding, who was a top rebounder in the league. So I think that with Andre Drummond getting the rebounds, he could get the ball from him, getting more second chance points and more chances for him. It was just really a very good type of Blake Griffin. Sometimes he can get injured, that sort of Blake Griffin. But this year, it wasn't that Blake Griffin we saw. It was an dominating Blake Griffin who just showed what he can do. So I think that if we see all of this Blake Griffin, he's definitely going to be a top power forward in the league this season, and I have very high hopes for him this season, and I think that he is probably the main piece in the Detroit Pistons. So at number 2 is Draymond Green. You might be thinking, Draymond Green is not this good. He has offensive issues. Yes, I know that. But the way he plays for defense as the Warriors, if they lose him for the Warriors, it's really not possible for them to get anywhere close to the championship anymore, because Draymond is really the defensive player of the team. He really shows a lot of muscle. I know he might get technical fouls a lot, but he is really honestly a key defender, and he is probably the second best defender behind Kawhi Leonard. So after that, number 1. And in the small forward video, I did not include this player, so I'm including him in the power forward position. It's Giannis Antetokounmpo. So Giannis is obviously the MVP. He's really good. He just dominates with his Euro steps and his post moves. He just always seems to find a way to get to the hoop and dunk over people. So I think that the way Giannis is playing, it's really nice because for people who like were watching like the era, like the 80s and the 90s, I think they're pretty pleased with Giannis because he's dunking a lot and he's doing a lot of what the older year players could do, and he's showing how good those sort of players can be. I know the game got revolutionized, but those type of players can still be valued a lot, and that's what Giannis is proving to the world. And remember, he's still very young and he can improve a lot. So I think that he's a very dominant player, and he just, with the ball in his hands, it just looks impossible to stop him. So I think that he's going to obviously get the #1 spot on this list. So I hope that you enjoyed the video and you agree with my list. So I think that this list was one of the hardest lists because I think that the competition in the power forward position has went down a bit, and I think that this list was actually more competitive because of that fact, because there are lots of players who could be in the list and couldn't. But in the end, I settled with this list because I think these players were the players who made the most impact to their teams. Thank you for watching and see you next time.